I think Kant's critique of pure reason is...
Oh, hello friends. I didn't see you there. We were just talking about Immanuel Kant and the philosophy of subjectivism. Would you like to join us?
Kant was an 18th century German philosopher who thought there were two worlds, that of reality and that of perception. The central idea of subjectivism is that we can't know what Kant's world of reality contains.
Would you like to take a deeper dive with us into subjectivism?
Spend a while standing on your front porch and we decide maybe I should listen more. Baby, don't lock the front door. I lived cloudy since 24 and you have been all around the world. I know. Who'd you think I adore? You got this hold on me. Get a hold of yourself.
Misnomer, a wrong or inaccurate name or designation. Why is the song named this?
The line "I've lived cloudy since 24" reflects the disconnect from reality present in the narrator. Another line, "You've got this hold on me, get a hold of yourself," shows that neither the artist nor the other person has a hold on reality, but rather a hold on another thing which is disconnected from reality itself.
Later in the song, the artist says, "Something's missing. I can't find it. Maybe I should listen," and you decide, "I've got something misgiven. I already tried. I just want to give in." This shows that the narrator's struggle, born of his lack of meaning to point to in his life, proves too much for him.
If we cannot know reality, as subjectivism states, we are bound similarly to the narrator of this song to be overcome by despair.
Returning to the question at hand, the song assigns the name reality to something that isn't truly real.
Throughout history, people have been captivated by the philosophy of subjectivism. It has persisted across generations, leaving a lasting impact. Plato's dialogues introduced a different perspective, challenging the notion of idealism. Subjectivism delved into the depths of individual perception, unearthing profound truths. Subsequently, philosophers like Hume and Kant expanded on this, questioning and critiquing existing beliefs, exploring the human condition through the lens of personal truths. And Nietzsche, his influential work shattering traditional thinking, allowing subjectivism to spread far and wide. Individual experiences were elevated and held in high esteem, and this became the foundation for existential pursuits. As subjectivism grew and evolved, it landed into the mind of Reki Kawahara, a Japanese author willing to take his own approach at the rapids of the river that is subjectivism. Anyways, let's talk about an anime about people fighting with swords. Anime, hated by most, enjoyed by others, while some try and hide an interest. Regardless of where you stand on the animation style of the Japanese culture, it's important to recognize great storylines. Sword Art Online is an animated series that premiered in 2012, based on a light novel, as mentioned before, by Reki Kawahara. The story takes place in a future where virtual reality becomes the norm video game. Our protagonist, Kirito, is a gamer who becomes trapped in a game called Sword Art Online, hence the name of the show. The creator of the game, Akihiko Karaba, has trapped 10,000 players inside the game, and has informed them that the only way to escape is to beat the game. If a player dies in the game, they will die in real life. Kirito becomes a skilled solo player, earning the nickname the Black Swordsman, and eventually joins forces with other players, including Asuna, a skilled fighter who becomes his love interest. The two of them work together to fight their way through various floors of the game and defeat the bosses that stand in their way. Along the way, they encounter various challenges and obstacles as they progress through the game. The series explores themes of love and loss and the consequences of technology as our protagonist and his friends fight for their lives and try to find a way to escape Sword Art Online. When connecting the show to subjectivism, we can explore how the series touches upon individual experiences, perceptions, and the construction of reality. Virtual reality and personal experience. In SAO, the characters are immersed in a virtual reality world where they perceive their surroundings and interact with others through their avatars. The experiences within the game are highly subjective and personal, as each player engages in the game world in their unique way. This mirrors the subjectivist notion that reality is shaped by personal experiences. Our protagonist undergoes various trials and challenges throughout the series. His experiences and interpretations of the virtual world shape his identity and understanding of reality. As Kirito navigates the game, he forms his own subjective truths about friendship, love, and the nature of existence. Thirdly, moral subjectivity and decision-making. SAO explores moral dilemmas and ethical choices. Within the game, players must decide how to navigate complex situations, including matters of life and death. These decisions often reflect the character's personal beliefs and values, highlighting the subjective nature of morality and individual decision-making. Fourthly, perception of threat and fear. In the SAO universe, the characters face the constant threat of death in the virtual world, which will in turn result in death in the real world. This makes their reality of the virtual world very real to them. This fear and danger influence their actions and perceptions. Subjectivism recognizes that emotion, including fear, shape how individuals interpret and engage with reality. Each character's subjective experience of fear affects their decision-making and overall outlook on the game. Overall, Sword Art Online can be seen as exploring subjectivism through its portrayal of individual experiences, the construction of reality within a virtual world, moral decision-making, and the influence of emotions. The series raises philosophical questions about the nature of reality, the subjectivity of truth, and the importance of personal experiences in shaping one's understanding of the world. And as I'd love to rant on more about this series, I don't have enough time. I will now hand it to Charlie, who will introduce our next topic.
Now that we've seen some examples of subjectivism in action, let's ascend to the Catholic worldview.
Which four?
2.
Wrong floor.
We made it. Woo. Let's go. Now that we have ascended to the Catholic worldview, let's take a look at some examples.
For our first example, we will be turning towards Don Quixote, a 17th century Spanish novel written by Miguel de Cervantes.
The story of Don Quixote details a man calling himself Don Quixote de la Mancha, nearing 50 years of age, who, believing himself to be a knight in the vein of his beloved Roland or King Arthur, wanders about dueling unsuspecting travelers, wrestling with lions, attacking wineskins, and other similar adventures.
In the book's most famous scene, he charges a group of windmills, mistaking them for a group of evil giants. Seeing him charge so foolishly, Sancho Panza, Don Quixote's squire, attempts to tell his master that the giants are in fact windmills. Of course, Don Quixote ignores this counsel and proceeds to charge into the windmills and reap the consequences. In this scene, Don Quixote's world of perception differs greatly from the world of reality. Through this scene, and others like it, Don Quixote is set up as a model of subjectivism. What he perceives never seems to match what is real. However, everyone else sees quite clearly his tremendous folly and understands that reality is indeed knowable.
In our second example, we will be taking a look at Sherlock Holmes.
Throughout the story, Sherlock Holmes uses his perception as well as his deductive reasoning to find the truth of the cases which he studies. Now let's take a look at a short video of Sherlock Holmes.
Okay, you've got questions.
Yeah, where are we going?
Crime scene. Next.
Who are you? What do you do?
What do you think?
I'd say private detective,
But
but the police don't go to private detectives.
I'm a consulting detective. The only one in the world that invented the job.
What does that mean?
It means when the police are out of their depth, which is always, they consult me.
The police don't consult amateurs.
When I met you for the first time yesterday, I said Afghanistan or Iraq. You looked surprised.
Yes, how did you know?
I didn't know, I saw. Your haircut, the way you hold yourself says military. But your conversation as you entered the room
A bit different from my day.
said trained at Bath, so army doctor, obvious. Your face is tanned, but no tan above the wrists. You've been abroad, but not sunbathing. Your lips really bad when you walk, but you don't ask for a chair when you stand, like you've forgotten about it. So it's at least partly psychosomatic. That says the original circumstances of the injury were traumatic. Wounded in action, then. Wounded in action, suntan, Afghanistan, or Iraq.
You said I had a therapist.
Got a psychosomatic limp, of course you've got a therapist. Then there's your brother. Your phone, it's expensive, email-enabled MP3 player. Are you looking for a flat share? You wouldn't waste money on this. It's a gift, then. Scratch is not one, many over time. It's been in the same pocket as keys and coins. Man sitting next to me wouldn't treat as one luxury item like this, so it's had a previous owner. Next bit's easy, you know it already.
The engraving.
Harry Watson, clearly a family member who's given you his old phone. Not your father, this is a young man's gadget. Could be a cousin, but you're a war hero who can't find a place to live. Unlikely you've got an extended family, certainly not one you're close to, so brother it is. Now Clara, who's Clara? 3 kisses says there's a romantic attachment. At Spencer, the phone says wife, not girlfriend.
She must have given it to him recently. This model's only 6 months old. Marriage in trouble then. 6 months on, he's just given it away. If she'd left him, he would have kept it. People do sentiment, but no, he wanted rid of it. He left her. He gave the phone to you. That says he wants you to stay in touch. You're looking for cheap accommodation, and you're not going to your brother for help. It says you've got problems with him. Maybe you liked his wife. Maybe you don't like his drinking.
How can you possibly know about the drinking?
Shot in the dark. Good one, though. Power connection, tiny little scuff marks around the edge of it. Every night he goes to plug it in to charge, but his hands are shaking. You never see those marks on a sober man's phone, never see a drunk's without them. There you go, see, you were right.
I was right. Right about what?
The police don't consult amateurs.
That was amazing.
Sherlock Holmes' deductive reasoning contradicts subjectivism and relates to the church in several ways. Firstly, Holmes believes in objective truths. He seeks to uncover facts using evidence and logical reasoning, while subjectivism holds that truth is subjective and varies based on personal experiences, which we'll compare and contrast in a moment. We see this as Holmes strives for impartiality and objectivity, setting aside biases and emotions, the opposite of what subjectivism preaches, or the influence of personal biases on an individual's perspective. Another very obvious one is how Holmes relies on universal principles of logic and reasoning, seeking generalizable knowledge instead of rejecting universally applicable principles. Holmes seeks external validation through empirical evidence, while subjectivism may prioritize individual intuition or personal experiences to know what is real. Holmes detaches himself from personal emotions and experiences to maintain objectivity, whereas subjectivism values personal experiences as valuable sources of knowledge. The church actually has an interest in personal experiences with respect to faith, but this abstract makes complete sense if you read early Sherlock Holmes novels, as his atheism is a fairly prominent characteristic in the original books. In the end, Sherlock is only human, and he cannot truly know everything, as seen at the end of this scene which we just watched, and I'll play it for you now.
Did I get anything wrong?
Harry and me don't get on. Never have. Clara and Harry split up 3 months ago. They're getting a divorce. Harry is a drinker.
Spot on then. I didn't expect to be right about everything.
Harry's short for Harriet.
Harry's your sister.
What exactly am I supposed to be doing here? Sister! No.
And that wraps up our philosophy project. Big thanks to my project members, Charlie Gates, Connor Vanacker, and Isaac Ioko, and yours truly, Manuel Rasnowski. I hope you're feeling safe, hope you're feeling happy. If you liked what you saw, make sure you drop a like. See ya.